to the Lioness Method, the podcast where we chat with female entrepreneurs and business leaders who share their hottest tips for creating long-lasting success that you can implement today. And now, here's your host, Narissa Sue, Master Integrated Breakthrough Coach.
Hi, good morning. Welcome, everybody. This is Narissa Sue, Leadership and Legacy Coach. And today we will be chatting with Amanda Roberts. And I recently saw Amanda receive her first 2 Comma Club Award on stage. And if you're not familiar with what a 2 Comma Club Award is, it is part of the Funnel Hackers community, where we both recently attended the Funnel Hacking Live conference for 2021 in Orlando, Florida. It was amazing. We met so many great people. And that's really where I got to see Amanda in action. So I am super excited to chat with her about hitting the $1 million mark for the first time this year and sharing with you guys how she is almost halfway to her second. So she's had amazing success. I am super excited to have her here. And a little bit more about Amanda before she hops on to chat is, Amanda is a head coach and conversion specialist. She's a multi-award winning real estate coach alongside her husband, Dwayne Roberts, and her 20 years of expertise as a realtor has really helped her to coach and encourage agents nationwide to crush their goals. She's also a co-author of Lead Conversion Secrets and also a nationwide speaker. Her outside of the box thinking has helped over 700 real estate agents double their business and have the lifestyle that they deserve. So we are super excited. Amanda, welcome. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yes. No, I was so excited to see a woman on stage too at Funnel Hacking Live. I was like, yeah, she's crushing it. I hope you heard us cheering from the front seats.
Aw, well, thank you. I did not do it by myself. My husband definitely saw the vision before I did. So we give lots of credit to him. I want to make sure people know that too.
Yes, of course. I know it's a team sport. It really is. Yeah. And even if we see other leaders receiving their awards on stage, it's almost, there's a team behind every person, right? And that's really one of the reasons why I created this podcast, is because I believe that leaders, we all need teams around us. We need a tribe around us. And it's really, really essential to all of our success. And hearing from super successful women like yourself about how you have created a pathway of your own in your market with your husband, of course. So you can share some of that wisdom with us.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, amazing. Well, I would love to get started by having you share who you serve and how you serve them.
Awesome. Yeah, it's very important to know who your client is and who your customer is. And as we've learned throughout the years, to fall in love with your customer and help meet their needs. Because obviously when we fill a need in the market, people will be attracted to us and they will, it naturally grows from there. So honestly, in the beginning, when we started, we were helping loan officers and realtors nationwide. We opened it up to everyone. And then we quickly found out that our ideal customer was someone who had been in the business for at least 2 years. And surprisingly, and I shouldn't be surprised, but the majority of our customers are female. And it's funny because when my husband...
I know you said you have about 700 realtors that you have served, and
yes,
probably more than that at this point. But how many of those are women?
We actually ran the numbers the other day, and it's like 65% are female.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And the majority of them are going to be in the age demographic of 35 plus. And so I found that very interesting. My husband actually had figured out, just by the people we were talking to, he felt like we were serving more females. And it was kind of funny because he wanted to be a real estate coach long before I ever did. We were both agents. We had a brokerage. And when he said, hey, I want to go into coaching, this was right after a Tony Robbins conference that we had been to. And he was, all excited. And I know my next level. I know my mission in life. Tony does that to you.
Yes, he does. Oh my gosh, he's amazing.
And so my husband announces to me, he's doing 75 to 100 transactions a year himself. And he announces to me that he's retiring his license and going full in as a full-time real estate coach. And I was like, you're crazy. Because we were making a lot of money and our lifestyle was built around that. And, I was an agent. I was a top producer as well. I said, well, somebody's got to keep paying the bills while you chase this little dream, So I was out selling real estate still. And then fast forward 2 years in, we have coaches too. I believe if you're going to get to the next level, you have to be a student yourself. You have to have a coach, whatever industry you're in. It can be just a business coach. It doesn't have to necessarily be honed in on the niche or business that you're in. But our coach told us that we needed video testimonials from our students. And so at that
and just to jump in there really quick, I love that you're saying that, because that is so instrumental. And every single incredibly successful leader that I've spoken to has said the same thing about investing in yourself. Like, if you're going to spend or invest money, then the investment needs to be in your education, your personal growth, and helping you move forward if you're going to be a successful entrepreneur.
Absolutely. And so we always seek out those coaches, and it can be specific or it can be generalized. But, Tony teaches that. He teaches that if you want to go faster, if you want to accelerate your progress, then you need to go to somebody who's been there and done that. Someone who is going where they've already gone where you want to be. And so that's what we did. And so our coach said, hey, you need to get some video testimonials from your students. So at that time we had about 100, and again, mostly female. And so my husband's on Zoom and he's doing these recordings with them. And, I'm kind of in and out because we've always worked from home. As agents, we work from home, and even in our coaching business. And so I'm hearing these conversations, and these women are saying things like, I love you, Dwayne. Thank you for putting this together. Oh my goodness, this is so amazing. And I'm like, who are these women telling my husband that they love him? So I go into my husband's office and I'm like, what are you doing? And he was like, well, I'm getting video testimonials. Our coach said to do that. And, and I'm like, these women love you. Like, he goes, yeah, I put something together amazing. Are you ready to listen now? And I had to get out of my own head. I was so used to doing what I was doing and getting a certain result. And while I wanted a better life, while I wanted that, millionaire lifestyle, I wasn't willing to give up what I currently had to get where I wanted to go. And it kind of took him pioneering it and going out before us and doing that. And so once I saw, okay, these people really need us. They really need our advice. They need our coaching. They need our expertise. A lot of them they didn't know where to start. And so a lot of what we teach is social media. We teach people how to get business using social media organically. We use attraction marketing. Again, that's nothing new. We've learned that throughout the years from all the conferences and coaches and things,
No, I think that's so incredibly helpful. And sorry to jump in there again, but you said another really important thing, which is when you were starting out with Dwayne, you kind of had this mindset of, I don't want to let go of the success that we already have in order to start this new business venture. Right. And so tell us more about that transition.
Okay. So I am the type of person that I have to be passionate about what I do. I have to feel like I'm helping people. And that's why I really enjoy doing real estate, because I was helping people buy a home. And so for me to transition from helping individuals buy a home into helping agents, I had to feel like I was helping them, because I'm not the type of person, I don't chase money. I want to feel like I have a purpose. I want to feel like I'm helping people. So that's my biggest thing. So once I heard these women saying, "Oh my gosh, you saved me from going back to a 9 to 5 job." Some of them were even saying things like, "You saved my marriage," because if you've got an entrepreneur, a business person, and they have a passion, a dream, or a goal, and they're not achieving that, and it's
Mhm.
causing a financial burden on the family, that can cause marital conflict. So
Oh
for
my gosh. I think isn't that the number one killer of marriages is financial woes?
finances, yeah. So to
Yes.
hear these women who, maybe they had a 9 to 5 job and they quit their job and they went full into real estate and they spent money to get their license and to place their license, but then they didn't have any closings. And now they're having these marital conflicts, but then they find us and we help them learn how to get business, learn how to leverage that business to get more business, learn how to work their existing database and get referrals and repeat business. Then all of a sudden the money started to come, and it shouldn't be that simple, but it kind of solves a lot of problems. If
Mhm.
people are fighting over money in their marriage, but then suddenly the money starts coming, well, it just by nature the arguments stop, right?
Yes,
That
well,
actually,
because you have so many more options, right? I
right.
really believe that money equals choices. And if
Mhm.
you and your partner have all these additional choices and there's, things are not limited, all of a sudden that abundance and prosperity kicks in and you're like, life is pretty good. I think we
Yeah.
can get along.
People say money can't buy happiness. Well, maybe
Mhm.
not, but money can eliminate stress, and stress will steal your happiness.
Mhm.
So it's
100%.
it's up to you to still be happy with the money, because there's still people who have money that are not happy, but that's a whole nother thing.
Yes.
But knowing that we were helping people in their day-to-day lives, and just hearing all of the stories, that made me want to do more of it, and it made me want to be better. And that's
Mhm.
what I realized. I'm hearing these women, saying things like, "Oh my gosh, I would have never thought to do that. Thank you so much for sharing that." And it was stuff that was common knowledge to me, but I just assumed that they had the same knowledge or same access to it that I did. But
Mhm.
that's when I realized they didn't. And so I went in, my husband and I together, we added things to the course, we made it better. We're constantly making it better. We do live trainings every Monday in our Facebook group. We're constantly adding value, and that's one of the things that Russell teaches us in the ClickFunnels community, is to add value. And you'll hear that from all the speakers. I've been to 5 ClickFunnels events. I'm a big proponent of learning, going to conferences, going to seminars, whether they're live or in person,
Mhm.
following people like yourself, coaches who can help you go to that next level, and just doing what they say. And so this is just one day after another, applying what we learned, getting a little bit better every day at what we do, and
Mhm.
then just kind of walking in it, just owning it. Because
I
before
think
I
that's
was
so much of it right there is
mhm,
you got to own it. You got to command it, especially as women, right? We have
yep,
to just step into that. And there's so many different ways to get there.
yes,
Um, and
and
I would
there are a
actually, I
lot.
would love to ask you,
Mhm.
how did you step into your power? Like, what challenges did you have to break through as a woman in business to start following your dreams? Because it sounds like yes, you just accomplished this $1 million achievement, but it sounds like you've done that a few times over already.
Yes.
So, what were some of the things that you needed to break through?
Right. So this definitely is not our first million, and it won't be our last. We've made several million in real estate. But one of the things that I've learned throughout the years, and again, I reference Tony Robbins because we've been to all of his conferences. We've been to Unleash the Power Within. Dwayne and I both have walked on fire. I've done it twice. I did
Mhm.
not get burned. Went to Date with Destiny, went to Business Mastery. There were times that we paid to go to these things that we had to put it on a credit card. Like, we
Mhm.
didn't have that extra money, but we learned things and we were able to apply them. And one of the biggest things that Tony taught me, that really just kind of sunk in, is the number one thing that keeps you from your goals is right here between your ears.
Mm.
And it's your mindset. Um, thinking you're not good enough, or thinking that nobody wants what you have to offer, or, there's so many other people doing that, who are you to think you can do that? Well, what I've learned is there are people who are going to be attracted to me, and there's going to be people who are going to be attracted to a different real estate coach. And that's okay. That's okay.
Yes. We have to
I
come
don't,
from that, again, that abundance mindset. Like there's
right.
enough for everybody, right?
Yep.
And it's really just about finding the right fit. And
Mhm.
because ultimately you're making friends. It's
Yes.
long-term relationships with your clients. And,
Mhm.
so we want to make sure that those are the people that we're inviting into our life that are a good fit all the way around.
Exactly. Well, I learned from another mentor. He said, and this is kind of where you kind of posture up a little bit. We use that terminology around here when we're kind of in a little funk or something. I need to posture up.
I like that.
I need to stand up and walk in who I am. So
Posture up, ladies. Posture up. Write that
posture
down.
up. Yeah, I heard that years ago from a lady named Bethany Webster. That was one of her phrases, and I was like, "Oh, I like that. I'm going to use that." So we use posture up all the time. But yeah, you have to, whether you feel worthy to do that position or be in that calling. I call it a calling. Russell calls it a calling. You have to kind of walk in it. And there's things that you can do daily. I do daily affirmations. And I also, I feel better when my hair and my makeup's done. I
Mm-hmm.
just do. If I don't have my hair and makeup done, I feel like I just feel like a different person. So for me, that's one of the things that I do.
Mm-hmm.
Eating healthy, it gives me energy. Exercising gives me energy. So I need energy to be my best version of me. And so taking care of myself first, it's kind of like the airplane, if the mask drops out of the ceiling, you're putting your mask on first before you can put somebody else's mask on.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to take time as women to take care of ourselves, because we give so much to everyone else, our families, our friends, our community, and in business as well. So you also have to teach people how to treat you, and that was a big one for me. I am not available 24/7. If
Mm-hmm.
someone private messages me at 7 o'clock at night, even if I see that message, I'm not going to respond to that. Even if I have time to respond to that, I'm not going to respond to that, because
Mm-hmm.
what you're doing is teaching people, oh, you can message me anytime and I'm going to respond.
Yes, those boundaries are just so critical, especially as you were just saying, like women, we have so many different roles in life now. We're not only running businesses, but there's families and relationships and friendships, partnerships, side hustles. There's, our charity work. There's all different types of things. So if you're
Mhm.
not keeping your cup full, like Brene Brown says, then you're going
Mhm.
to be totally stressed out and depleted. So I
Right.
love that advice.
Yep.
And thank you for sharing that.
Yeah,
Um, yeah.
absolutely. It's all part of it. It's just this big circle, and everything, if you're off in one area, it's going to affect you in another area. And so
Mhm.
to be successful in business, you do have to make time for yourself.
Oh, 100%. And I think from being a leadership and legacy coach, I work with women that are looking to grow their businesses and they're like, something's off and I'm not quite sure what it is. And it's usually that thing that they're putting off, they're sweeping under the rug, right? That they think doesn't really matter and they're kind of just shoved it in the closet and the closet's about to burst open. It's like it's that thing right there, right?
Yep.
So
Yep.
it is that self-care also includes cleaning out the closet. Like we
Yep.
have to unpack all that stuff that we think is trivial, but it could
Mhm.
be really taking up your prime real estate in your mind, so to
Exactly.
speak, right?
Exactly. Oh, and those
Awesome.
thoughts, those negative thoughts, when they come, I address them right away. It's so funny because, as women, we get bombarded with everything. Like, for example, some of my negative patterns in the early days were, well, nobody wants to listen to you because you're older.
Mm.
And I'm like, oh, well, so that got in my head. Oh, well, you're overweight. They're not going to listen to you. You're from the South. You have a Southern accent. People
I
from
love your
up north.
accent, by the way.
Everybody says that. Everybody loves
Yes.
my accent. And so it's all these like little things that self-doubt that creep in. We all get it. So it's just
Mm-hmm.
different for somebody else. Somebody else, it might be they're too young. Somebody else might be they're too skinny,
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, what I realize, and this comes from, personal development, is that we're all different. We're all unique. Some are younger, older, skinnier. It doesn't matter. We're all different and we're unique. And sometimes it's our very uniqueness that attracts people to us.
Mm.
So I hear people all the time tell me that about my accent. And they just, one girl, she says, I could just sit and listen to you all day. And I'm like,
No, it's very soothing. I love it. And your calmness. You just have a calm way about you, Amanda, that we really appreciate.
yeah.
And I appreciate your openness. And I would love to ask you,
Mhm.
what are you working on personally right now that will allow you to serve your clients in bigger and better ways? Because I know it sounds like you're really into personal development.
Yeah. So, that's a good question. So we just got back from ClickFunnels, obviously, and I have like a stack of notes and things that I
Mm.
want to implement. But sometimes I feel like in my personal life, I tend to take on a lot of projects. And then what I find is that I don't leave enough margin and I get stressed because I have this I can do anything and everything attitude. For example, behind me is a project that I started about a month ago. I wanted built-ins behind me with my fish tank. I love fish. And I
It
got,
looks great too.
oh,
We love
thank
the
you.
fish.
It's about 90% done, but it's not completed. So I
Mhm.
have a lot of these little projects around my house. They're like 90% done. And I said, I've got a lot going on right now with the business. I do take a lot of phone calls every day. I talk to about 50 agents a week. And then I also, have my family. We do live on the Emerald Coast, so I don't get a lot of time away. I'm literally 10 minutes from the beach, so I don't get to go to the beach very much. So it's like I need to find time to finish these projects and go to the beach and spend a little time before the end of the year. And
Mhm.
so for me, it has become my priority to get these things finished and completed. Because if I can't get those completed before the first of the year, then it's just going to lag on and it's going to be back there just constantly nagging me that it's not done. It's not done. So my personal goals is to get all of my little projects around my house completed and then go have some beach time. We're actually going to Panama City Beach this weekend to celebrate our 20-year anniversary.
Oh, wow. Congratulations. 20
Thank you.
years. That's a big milestone.
It is. And, I'm just trying to make sure I make time for me because as entrepreneurs, sometimes we're just like, we wake up and that's all we do. We live, eat, and breathe our business, and
Mhm.
everything falls apart around us. And so that's my personal goal. I do have a couple of books that I plan on reading before
Ooh,
the end of the
what
year.
books or speakers? Well, I know you mentioned Tony Robbins. He's
Yes.
definitely a master.
Yes.
But what books do you love that have made a difference for you?
Most of the books that I read are Christian books. I do read a lot of business books as well.
Mhm.
My favorite business book of all time is probably Who Moved My Cheese.
Oh, that's a great one.
That's one of my favorites. My current favorite Christian author is Christine Kane. She lights a fire under me and she kind of like pulls back the curtain and lets me see, okay, this is an area I need to work on. And she's the current book I'm reading, she's talking about drifting.
Mm.
And I can see that in every area of life. Sometimes we just drift. We drift in our marriage, we drift in our business, we drift in our friendships. And there's signs that you're drifting. And sometimes for me, when I feel like something's off, like something like, okay, something's missing, something's off, I will stop and I will evaluate and I'll say, okay, what's going on? Why am I feeling off? A lot of times as women, we ignore those, gut instincts, those red flags, so to speak. And then I'll say, okay, you know what? I've spent like 50 hours on the business this week. I've barely spent any time with my son. Let me go spend some time with my son. And so interestingly enough, my 16-year-old, this is who I'm referencing. We have 4 boys. He and I both go to the chiropractor. And so now I have learned, this is a 30-minute drive there and a 30-minute drive back. This is 2 hours a week that it's just me and him, and we can talk. So a lot of times it's not that you're, going and doing something great or fabulous. It's that you're making the most out of the time you're given. Because we are busy. We are busy. And so I can't just take a whole day off, but I can make the best out of those 2 hours. So it's really just about, it's a balancing act, so to speak, balancing.
It's so funny because I feel like when we say, I feel like balance is almost like a fantasy. Like I think I definitely strive for harmony in my life because I've given up on balance. I'm like, there's no balance. So where really it's got to be like harmony, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's finding peace amidst the chaos.
100%. Yes.
Sometimes,
and finding those moments like you're describing with your son, that's so beautiful.
Yep.
And just being able to be present when you're in the car and recognizing that, oh, this is our some quality time that we have together, because it's a whole hour that we have to chat and just bond and listen to music or be silly or whatever you choose to do with that time. It doesn't have to just be, we're quiet staring at the road. And,
exactly. Or on the phone.
On the phone, right?
Because for years as a real estate agent, it was rush, rush, rush. I'm on the phone. I'm doing a contract. I'm taking him to something, dropping him off, coming back later, on the phone again. And it was always, I can just hear him even when he was little, Mom, 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 like he's just trying to get my attention. And I was just so busy.
Yeah.
And that's something else that we teach our agents as well. We teach them, number 1, time blocking, and number 2, building in margin.
I love that.
Something I learned, and this has only been within the last 5 or 6 years, is it's okay to say no to good things to leave room for great things.
Yes.
And so I used to say yes to everything. If somebody needed me to help with something, volunteer for something, I would say yes. And it was probably 2015, around that time frame, I got really good at saying no.
And that's what it takes. Like, no is a complete sentence. It's yes. We have to learn exactly when it's okay to say no. And it starts feeling real good, doesn't it?
It does. And, I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but at the same time, I have goals and dreams just like everyone else. And, if I have time and it's in my off season, then yes, I might go and volunteer for a good cause, but I'm not doing everything. And that's the other thing, is knowing where I'm going and why. I learned that probably about 10 years ago. You've got to know why you're doing what you're doing. And my why isn't about money, and it isn't necessarily about helping people. That's what motivates me, is to help people. But my why ultimately is to have generational wealth and to leave a legacy for my kids. Pretty much everything I do is self-motivated by how it's going to affect my children and my family time. I want multiple properties in the United States that we can go and spend time together. One of my biggest goals is to buy a property on Smith Mountain Lake in Virginia. That's where I grew up. And to have that second home there, because we live on the Emerald Coast in Florida now, and I'm not leaving here.
You're like, I don't get to enjoy it as much.
But I wouldn't mind having a second home there so I can go back and spend time with my family, because half my family is there now. So I have dreams and goals that typically, they're going to be geared around family time, and that takes money. So I always, now this is going to be funny. Your listeners are going to laugh at this one. Where's the number 1 place that you spend the most time throughout your day besides your office?
Your bedroom?
Close. Your bathroom.
Oh, that
As
is
women. Now,
funny.
some of us go every 2 hours, right? But we're
Yeah, I
in
guess
that
it depends
bathroom
on
at
how
least.
long it takes you to get ready,
Right. Well, we're in the bathroom at least 4 to 5 times a day, if not more. And so
Yeah.
I have a poster with my goals, and I
Mhm.
use pictures. I like visual aids. And I
Is
have
it
it
kinda
on,
like a vision board or
yes, a vision
okay.
board.
Mhm.
And I have it on the back of the door in front of the toilet. And that's kind of
That's a
like the
great
only
place to put
time.
it. I never thought of it.
Hey, it works, and I share that. It's funny, but I share
Mhm.
that with our students, and they always laugh. But it works. That's kind of like the only place that you definitely are going to be alone for several minutes, several
Mhm.
times a day, unless you got cats. But that's, you can still look at your vision board.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, cats
And
have a mind of their own, definitely.
right. And I put crazy stuff on my board. So I started
Mhm.
doing that probably around 2010. And I put, generalized goals on my first one, and I hit every last one of them. And then the second year, I was like, I'm going to have fun with this. So I put on there that I wanted to meet 6 famous people. And
Oh,
I didn't
fun.
care who they were, but I wanted to
Mhm.
meet 6 famous people. I did. I met 6 famous people, and got
Amazing.
and I got pictures with most of them.
Mhm.
And so then it was like, okay, I'm going to just get really crazy. I'm going to put some stuff on here that seems unachievable and see, let's just see if I put it on there, is it really going to happen? And it did.
Mm.
And so now I just literally, I write it out. I write it out like a grocery list. What
Oh,
do I
wow.
want? What do I want out of life?
Mhm.
And I think just having it there in front of you every single day, you see it multiple times a day, and it may be a different location for other people. I use that as an example because that's where I put mine, and
Mhm.
I see it multiple times a day. And so it's almost impossible for you to see something roughly 1,500 times in a year and not
Mhm.
achieve it. It's almost
Exactly.
so.
I always guide my clients to write their goals and affirmations on their mirrors in their house and with dry erase markers,
That's
especially
fun.
like in your bathroom or in your
Yeah.
bedroom because you're always looking in that mirror to get ready, get your clothes on, all that
Yep.
stuff. But I love putting a vision board in the bathroom. That's such an amazing tip.
Yeah, because if you think about the size of a poster board, I tell
Mhm.
people keep it simple, don't go crazy. Just go get you a little 50-cent poster board, go online, print
Mhm.
you some pictures and things that represent it, write it on there, however you want to do it. And we have our students actually take pictures of it and send it to us and things like that. And it's so they're just amazed at the things that they accomplish on their board. And one of the things that Tony teaches and that I love is that people often overestimate what they can do in a year, but they
Mhm.
underestimate what they can do in a decade. And I like to go back and look at I don't throw any of them away. I go back and I look and I see, everything I've done over the last almost 12 years now. And I'm like, wow, this is crazy. Like, I wish I had started doing that sooner. So
Mhm.
that's definitely one of the rules I live by, tips that I would give you on how to be successful.
I love that. That's great. Well, I know that we're coming close to time, so I want to just ask you a couple more questions, if that's
Okay.
good, if you're all right with time. And I guess the last thing is just what's next for you? Like what you've accomplished a lot. I know that you have already been working on this business. You talked a little bit about some self care goals, but what
Mhm.
else? What else is next for you on on that big juicy goals list?
Well, it's getting to the point now where it's like I have everything I want. It's like, what do I want
I
out of
love
life now?
that.
I'm about to turn 46 and I've already hit every goal I ever wanted and then some.
Mhm,
Um, I mean, honestly, we're about to put a swimming pool in. So that was a really big goal for us. We paid our house off. I got a brand new Challenger with a scat pack paid for. About to put in the swimming pool, that's paid for. And so now my husband and I were talking about, different things that we want to do. And we've always wanted to invest in rental properties, vacation properties to be exact. So we'd like to buy 2 vacation rental properties a year for the next 10 years, ideally on the Emerald Coast. We're looking at Panama City as one of those locations. And I want to get back into doing conferences. I enjoy doing conferences. We've done business conferences. We've done conferences for women. And I really feel like that's kind of the next big thing for us. Obviously, we're going to keep doing our coaching business. That's doing very well. We should hit our second 2 April, May timeframe if things stay on target.
Awesome. That is amazing.
Yeah. And then, of course, I'm looking forward to the future when my kids start giving me grandbabies. So that's going to open up a whole nother set of goals and things like that. Like, obviously, we're going to want to take them to Disney and do some fun stuff. So really optimistic and looking forward to the future and everything that is coming our way. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at now. Looking at buying some vacation properties and just enjoying life.
Amazing. I love that. It sounds like a beautiful life.
Thank you.
Yes. And thank you so much for spending this time with us today and for sharing all of your wisdom and kind of what it takes from the background, because I know that we oftentimes talk about our businesses, and I think it's really helpful, especially for the women that are entrepreneurs or maybe even thinking about getting into entrepreneurship, to understand kind of the mindset that it takes and really like what happens in the background. Because if we have the Instagram view, then everything looks perfect on the outside, right? You're just standing on stage looking beautiful with your award.
Right.
However, there's so much work and so much stress and challenges and wonderful things that happen in the background that we don't often get to hear. So I appreciate you for your transparency. And so how can the lovely ladies that are listening, how can our beautiful listeners contact you for more information about your programs and just to connect with you?
Awesome. Honestly, the best way to get a hold of me is through Facebook. My Facebook username is Higher Than Rubies. So higher than THAN rubies, like the red jewel. So, obviously that's just the facebook.com/ and then the username. And they can friend request me. A lot of what we teach can be applied in multiple industries, but we do focus on realtors and loan officers, but everything that we teach is attraction marketing using social media.
Beautiful. Awesome. Which is a lot of translatable things. And I love that you're so deeply invested in mindset as well, because I think that's a huge component of any business, right?
Yes.
Amazing. Well, thank you again. And for the listeners, thank you so much for joining us all the way to the end of this amazing interview with Amanda. And we want to invite you to join us right now backstage in the VIP Facebook group for a quick training with Amanda, as she's going to share some of her top mindset tips as from a millionaire coach, I should say multi-millionaire coach. And if you haven't already, I want you to go to your Facebook groups right now and request to join the Lioness Entrepreneurs and Business Leaders Uncaged for some more juicy content. And until next time, we'll say goodbye. So live in gratitude and stay light, my friends. Goodbye.
Have you signed up for this week's virtual breathwork circle? Come, breathe, make space for all the abundance and prosperity you are calling in. breathewithriss.com.